Yeah, what up? It's your boy, A to the L-I.
On the other side, it is the kid, DJ Mike Caliber. Shot City was really good.
No doubt, and welcome to the Sound Booth, man. This is episode 2, and man, oh man, we gonna have some fun today, yo.
Listen, I got a mix. I'm ready to blast off. Y'all ready for this to get into it?
Yeah. Let me hear what you got.
Let's get it in. DJ Mike Caliber, pay attention. It's the Sound Booth.
Where you find this shit?
Let's go. Oh, turn that up, son. Let me hear what you doing over there.
Just something, man. It's interesting. It's just straight to
look.
the point today. It's a nice New York theme. It's a nice New York feel right now going on here.
It's only right that we have this shit bumping right here with a Brooklyn nigga in the building. I got my boy Floyd Johnson, a.k.a. Brooklyn Sharp. What up, boy?
What's happening?
Floyd, man, appreciate you, man. It's been a good 20, 30 minutes of me over here getting this shit in order, you feel me? I know niggas was wanting to be like, yo, what the fuck is he doing? Sweat was falling and shit.
Oh, shit.
I don't know. I thought y'all had some janky promoter shit going on.
Oh,
Nah, man. One of the fucking real talk. One of the motherfucking chords blew, man. It just is what it is. Like I know which one it is now. It's actually working now, but the bitch is just tweaked out. You feel me? That sound booth shit. That's just like being in the studio, man.
It is what it is.
You gotta make it work though.
True.
Now check this out, man. We got Floyd in the building, straight out of Brooklyn. I'm trying to think where I want to start. I'm thinking, tell us about Brooklyn in the 90s.
Brooklyn in the 90s. Everybody was hungry. Mm-hmm. Sound like I was about to do a movie shit.
Yeah, it just
Everybody was hungry.
Everybody was hungry.
It sound like the intro. It sound like the intro on the album, right?
Nah, Brooklyn in the 90s was, to me, it was one of the coolest eras. You know, like we was hungry. You know, the drug dealer cats out there, they was getting it hard. You know, and cats like me was just, you know, I was young. I wasn't into too much of the heavy shit. I was into light stuff, weed, and just chilling on the block. And we didn't have a real block. We had the middle of the projects. Everybody hung in the middle of the projects. Like kids everywhere, and the older cats would be like, "Yo, y'all go in the house.
Yeah.
There's about to be some
action out
some
here.
firecrackers out here. Go in the house."
Well, look, that's how it was in Chicago in the 90s, man. Early 2Gs, a little like that,
Yeah.
man. But officially, after a while, man, shit died.
Now, what I want to
Shit
know,
died completely.
what I want to know is, as far as when it comes down to like the borough, y'all have how are y'all projects sectored in Brooklyn? Like, because I know you got yours, and then I know there's Marcy, and y'all have. I mean, how many did y'all have in the? Was they all rivals? Did niggas fuck with each other?
Nah, I'll tell you some real shit. If you was from Fort Greene, you go anywhere.
Okay.
You go anywhere.
Now, what made y'all have that pass to go anywhere?
You just didn't want to fuck with a Fort Greene cat.
Yeah.
Niggas was ruthless.
So So on the grid, man, where in Brooklyn, where is Fort Greene exactly?
Right over the Brooklyn Bridge.
Right over the Brooklyn
When you
Bridge.
get over the
Okay.
Brooklyn Bridge,
Yeah.
you head down what's that? Tillery.
Okay.
And Fort Greene Project starts right there. It's right across the street from 84 Precinct.
Okay.
84 Precinct is not the precinct for the projects. It's for 84 Precinct for something else. So anytime some shit would go on, 88 would take that call.
Okay.
84th is right across the street.
Ain't that a bitch?
So if some pop off, they just, okay, well, that's 88.
That's the politics that they set up early. They was
Yeah.
like, something got to be figured out with this shit. I don't want
We
that
across
place.
the street, so we ain't going over there.
So,
you know?
so like when I hear about early stories or like project stories in New York, man, it's never like hearing project stories like in Chicago, Shot City. Like niggas have like fucking the normal project type of stories, but it sounds like people had fucking fun.
I was going to say that. I was just going to say that.
You feel me?
My project,
it's like a look.
Like Fort Greene was ruthless, but we actually had fun. We had a lot of fun. We did a lot of, you know, like my man Mike, God rest his soul. He used to like get us together to sell newspapers on Sundays, and
get some money.
we take the money and we go get, you know, food and juice and whatever. And he would do all the basketball games, the softball games, and that's how we all still family to this day. You know what I mean? Like none of us enemies and shit. Like it wasn't like you live in 85 Fleet Walk, I live in 8 Fleet Walk. We not enemies. We might have fought back in the day. We might have, you know what I mean? You might have two-pieced me, you know, and I ain't come outside the next day.
Yeah.
You know, but we were still peoples. But the ruthless shit, that was like the older cats, you know, and it started dying out as we started getting older. The older cats was getting locked up and they was getting killed, you know, and it started dying down. It was still shit popping off. Like it's still shit popping off there now.
Now, what I want to know is the one thing that I notice about a lot of cats that come up in the PJs in New York. I mean, some of your major players in the industry now came from that element.
Mm-hmm.
How many could you name or think of just some really talented cats that were in your projects that maybe never made it to the mainstream, like your Jays or your Nas's that came from some of the most notorious
Rap
projects?
wise or just in general?
In general.
Yeah, in general.
Hoops, you know.
Yeah, my man Bugs.
Mm-hmm.
My man Bugs, they did a movie on him called Soul in the Hole.
Okay.
I remember Zola in the Hole. Damn,
I never heard
Zola.
that.
Yeah,
So
Bugs
it was a basketball
Yeah,
movie.
Bugs
Yeah.
was the illest point guard. Like to me, still to this day, he's one of the illest point guards that I ever seen. And he has friends like Shaq and Kevin Garnett, you know. And when I tell you his skills was up to par, like nobody could touch him. His basketball court vision was just stupid.
What was his style if you had to compare him to somebody?
I can't.
For real. Street balling? Was it street
balling.
balling?
Street
Crazy?
balling.
Okay.
But he had an opportunity to get out. You know, he had an opportunity to get out. And if he ever hears this, he'll understand that I'm telling the truth. He had an opportunity to get out. But I think sometimes being in the projects, your mindset is a little different. You know, especially when you're looking at the drug game and you're looking at the older cats selling drugs, eating cars and shit. So you want the cars and stuff.
Now, this is my question because I remember hearing Pee Wee Kirkland talk about this. He was one of the main street ballers out of New York. And he talked about how he got drafted to the Bulls, but the money that he was offered to play for the Bulls, he was getting way more than that in the street.
That's because of drug dealers. That's
So-
because motherfuckers, like, people put money on these games.
Yeah.
So like a cat like Bugs, you know, he's not where Pee Wee was, but that's how he got his money. Yo, Bugs, come play with my squad and make sure he got sneakers on his feet, some dope shit, you know, and put some money in his pocket. And if they win, they make sure they hit him off. So you ain't had to do but go play ball.
That's crazy. So I'm looking at I'm not listening to that story. I'm thinking about the culture in some of these different movies, right? Definitely like the late 90s movies that like, you got what, Above the Rim.
Yeah.
I'm sorry. You got like Above the Rim. You got fucking Soul in the Hole. All of these have like the same element. It was like the athletes, not the athletes, I'm sorry, like the neighborhood, the big hustlers,
Yeah.
the
Sunset
rappers, Sunset Park. Well, no, Sunset Park, they was
That
high
was-
school.
that was
team.
high school.
Yeah, but coach, you get it.
But it
What
was
we doing-
NY culture, right?
Well, no, what I'm saying is like they had their teams. These motherfuckers had their teams, and a goal of this team, like they held this team down.
Oh, okay. I see.
You get what I'm saying?
Like if you was the coach, and you had the illest squad,
Yeah.
you was making sure they was good and they wasn't gonna go to another squad. So
Right,
you
right,
put
right.
money in their pocket.
You put money in.
Sneakers on their feet.
Yeah.
Especially
Gotcha.
if we blowing cats out.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Yo, we got a game next Tuesday, you know, so-and-so park. And if I'm the coach and I got the whip, I'm coming to get you. Or I'm coming to get my star player and everybody else meet us there. You know what I mean? So it was like, you know, I went to every park. And it wasn't just Bugs, my man Jesus. You know, both of them got a chance to go to college. You know, not many people from where we come from get that opportunity. You know, they both got a chance to go to college, but they were still stuck in the hood mentally.
So what was they got a chance to go to college? Did they play in college?
Yeah.
So what was the reasoning for them not being able to take it to the next level?
Hood.
They would go back to the hood, or they just
Always in the hood.
Or just
they
the
drop
hood
out of school?
affected them.
You just always in the hood. Your mind is always in the hood.
But I'm saying like they were hooping in college.
Yeah, like Bugs was hooping in college, but his mind's in the hood, so he do hood shit.
But did he? What I'm asking is like, all right, so if you freshman year in college, did he complete a full season to catch an eye of maybe a scout or something,
But Bugs already had everybody looking at him.
league wise?
Yeah, he already had everybody looking at him. But, you know, it was like, go to college, do this, and then, you know, next thing is the league. But when you stuck on, first of all, when you go to college and you from Brooklyn or you from many projects, you know what I'm saying? What's the first thing in your head when you step on the campus?
Bitches.
Pussy.
Bitches.
All day.
So niggas is getting free pussy because you that
you a
nigga
hooper.
on the squad.
Yeah.
Oh, this nigga from New York. Especially if you say some shit like that, like it's like, what? They on him.
Yeah.
So they was on that, and you know, smoking, drinking, and you back in the hood.
So without naming any names, yo, can you give us like one of the craziest stories that you heard about that maybe involve some of these ballers, man? Because statute of limitations should be out of here, right? I would assume.
I ain't gonna do that to them.
Shit,
I ain't gonna do that to them.
So
It's a lot.
All right,
It's
look,
a lot that went on.
Yeah. Because we don't want them to do that. But
I want it. I'm sorry, I want it here.
we can do that. We can do that off. We can do that off.
Yeah, that's the code.
off
That's
there.
the code.
But okay, so you give us that on the baller side. What about on the rap side?
I mean, the rap side. I mean, honestly speaking, like I said, I was a sugar-coated kid.
Mm-hmm.
You know, I wasn't into. My mom's barely let me go outside every now and then.
Mm-hmm.
So, me when I got into the music shit, it was just you playing with your mom's records and shit like that. And the first cat that I really saw that was doing it was Big Daddy Kane.
Okay.
Big Daddy Kane, we all lived in the same area.
Mm-hmm.
He lived over by Ivy Square Mall. I'm in Fort Greene Projects. Kane is older than me. He's older than me, but like his little brother, Little Daddy Shane, my man Lamar, they all lived over there. So I used to go over there just because I knew Kane was there. He on the second floor at Grandma's crib. You know what I mean? So I would go over there just on a regular day. My best friend Rodney lived in the same building, so it just made sense. So sometimes I would be in Kane's crib, and he would see me and be like, yo, like, who brought this cat in here? I'm just sitting in the corner and shit like a fly on the wall.
And how old were you at this point?
I was probably like 13, 12, somewhere in that area.
So you're old enough to understand what's going on all the way.
Yeah.
All the way.
Yeah, and I was stuck on the music. I was already stuck on the music, like it was just in me.
Now, what enticed you about music at 13? As far as how you wanted to be involved in it.
When I was young, it was weird because all I used to do was read. I used to just read books, sit in my room in the corner and just read books. My mom's, when she had all these records, like I still got her records to this day. She had all these records, and I used to just go through them. And when I've heard, what's that joint called? Rappin' Duke.
The hard.
Yeah. It just hit something.
Right.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like everybody got that time in their life where something just snapped.
Just snapped, yeah.
That record, something just hit me. And then the Sugar Hill Gang.
Yeah.
So you kind of stuck like, yo, this just hit me, that just hit me. That's like if you get a dope beat right now and it's banging, you're going to be like, yo, that shit is sick. Then the next one hit you.
Yeah.
So it wasn't like it was a break in between.
So was it just when that hit you, was it, oh my God, I don't know what I want to do, but I want to be involved in the culture at some point?
I wanted to be a rapper.
You wanted to be a rapper?
I wanted
There
to
we
be a
go.
rapper.
Oh, shit.
I wanted
Okay.
to be a rapper. I wanted to spit lyrics and write my shit on paper and do my 16 and but at the same time I was watching TV a lot. So I wanted to act, I wanted to dance, I wanted to be in entertainment, period.
Okay.
So did you record any songs at all? Like wanting to be that?
No, because I didn't have the equipment to do it
Gotcha.
at the time.
But did you write?
I did. But it's funny because I really wish I could find that book. Because when you young and like right now, I don't care how my voice sounds.
Yeah.
Back in the day, I was like, damn, I don't even sound right.
Shit sound weird as hell.
How do you can feel for that? That's crazy, right?
But then when I write something, I put something on paper, I was writing some dope shit.
Yeah.
But then when I would spit it, it would sound funny as fuck.
Is that
to me?
Is that possibly because it's you're writing it, you're hearing it through like just another rapper that you idolize or appreciate? You know how you can hear something in another artist's voice, but then when you kick it out,
I didn't know how to flow.
Yeah, okay.
I didn't know how to. I would just take my flow off of what I hear from other rappers or the cats in my hood.
Gotcha.
You know what I mean? And I didn't know how to really how to flow on this because this is you writing this down with no beat.
Yeah.
All right, so you got to the point where you wanted to be a rapper. So then at what point did you say, I'm not going to do the rap shit, but I want to be involved in the rap shit?
Oh, that was very quickly. That was very quickly. It was I don't even know the year, but it was like I wrote some shit down one day, and we was outside, and everybody kind of like spit their shit, and then I spit my shit on paper, and everybody liked it. But at the same time, everybody's asking me questions. And then what happened was I used to do mixtapes, but my mixtapes was different. I used to take the CDs. You got the counter clock, and I used to take the CDs, and I used to take a 90-minute tape, pop that in, and I used to forward the tape so you wouldn't have the air in the middle of it. Put the CD on, and then I would play the CD like a LL Cool J joint. LL Cool J is hard as hell. So with the CD, because I didn't have a turntable, so with the CD, I would watch the counter clock and know where to stop it at, and then put the CD back so it would go LL Cool J, LL Cool J, LL. Like it was like I was really on a motherfucking turntable. You know what I'm saying? So when I would do that, you know, I used to let cats listen to it. Like, yo, how you did that shit? You know how many hours outside in that crib doing that shit, man? Like,
I'm happy that you put that one in there, because I'm sitting, nigga, I've never heard of that in my life. I'm like, nigga, what? I'm like, wow.
it's like if you was in jail and you got all the time in the
got
fucking
no
world.
time. Yeah,
Exactly.
you sit
So
down.
I ain't go outside most of the time. I'm in the crib.
Yeah.
So you start perfecting the craft on how to do it.
Right.
And I would just do it, and then I would take that off, put a new CD on, just like a 12-inch record, and put the next joint on and go through that, you know, and make a whole joint. And then I would play it back and listen to it and be like, yo, yeah, that's kind of fly. Cats used to come to my crib with their demos. My man Shy, he had a studio built into his crib, soundproofed and everything. Had the boards, like.
And this is in Fort Greene.
This is in the projects.
Okay,
he had about 100 locks on his door.
Yeah.
Like you go in there, everybody who knew that Shy had the joint in there, they would pay him some bread and they would go record in there.
Straight up.
But Cash used to come to my crib and like drop off demos and shit. And I started managing this one group without knowing what management was. But they used to really come to my crib. Like my moms and my brother, they used to knock on the door and is Floyd here? Yeah, I just want to give him my tape. Can you just tell him to listen to that? So that's when I started figuring, you know what, maybe being in front of the camera, being that dude was not my key. Let me see what I can do back here. And I didn't know anybody. I didn't know no Russell Simmons or, you know.
You know what's ill? It's funny. It's funny that you said it, because I had the exact same conversation. I went to Chicago State. First nigga I met when I got to Chicago State was Kanye. Had an English class with this nigga. Nigga used to he was just like he is today, just flamboyant as hell. Nigga, I produce. I'm on the radio freestyling with Common, this, that, and the third. He was like, what up, you get down? You know, I got beats or whatever. And I was just like, I was rhyming, like I was writing rhymes, but I was like you, I wasn't confident in it.
Yeah.
So I told him, I was like, nah, I think I kind of want to do I want to be on the puff shit. Like I want to be behind the scene. And that nigga told me, dog, once you start that shit, you got to keep going.
It's a grind.
If you want it, you got to keep going. And that's what kind of like skyrocketed me into like, let me get real serious and try to learn how to. I didn't fall back and say I wanted to do something else. I just said, you know what, I'm gonna keep going and I'm gonna try to do this shit more. But it's interesting because you went the other route and said, I want to do behind the scenes.
Well, it was a lot that had to go into that. Like I said, my mom's wouldn't let me go outside. She let me go out here and there, but I was in the house doing chores and shit. And like I said, Big Daddy Kane was like still my man to this day. This is my man. I love this cat. But he did his first video, which was Ain't No Half Stepping, and I was always getting in trouble in the crib and whatnot. And just so happened I got in trouble when I couldn't go outside. But I knew that he was doing a video that day. So me and my moms got into it, and my mom's like, I'm leaving, I'll be back, blah, blah, blah. When she walked out the door,
You was out the door.
I gave it a little minute,
You out there,
and
bitch.
I'm out.
Yeah.
I'm not missing this. There's no way I'm missing this.
Yeah.
And it was like I went down to the video set, and I met the Vid Kid, Ralph McDaniels. They was the ones that was doing all the videos back in New York.
Off
back
the
in
box,
day.
right?
Yeah, Video Music Box.
I met Ralph. Crazy
You know,
story. Okay.
Vid Kid did almost every last one of Boyz II Men videos. You know, but before that, he was doing all the rapper videos, him and Ralph McDaniels.
Okay.
So I went down there and I started networking without even knowing what networking was, because I was just talkative.
Just talking.
So I met Cheryl McLeod, who was the casting director at the time, and I told her too. I was like, yo, I'm in trouble. It's like 5 in the morning now.
Oh shit.
Yeah.
How old are you though?
Like 14, 15.
Nice. I love those.
Like I'm in trouble.
Yeah.
I don't know if I can go home. You know, can you call my mom's? You know, she's like, yeah, I call her. So she called my mom's and shit. My mom's like, yeah, okay. You know, I just want to make sure he was good. He was okay. You know, she gave her the hoofla. I got in the crib and got batted.
But it was worth it. Though.
It was
We
worth
know
it.
that.
It was worth it.
We know
Anytime
that.
you could take damage You could take that type of damage and that type of beating from your moms or your parents or whatever for something that you love and you got passion for. It's always gonna be worth it. I'll take that hit on the chin.
That's like House Party 1, man. He done kicked it all fucking night.
Man,
went
had a
to
ball.
jail. Got his ass whooped twice.
Almost got some buns.
Got his ass whooped twice. Then got to the crib and got his ass whooped for real. You feel me? So I got we say at Fort Greene. Tell me if I'm wrong. This new show that's on TV, The Breaks.
The Breaks. It's based in Fort Greene.
I knew it. Have you checked this shit out?
But I've heard it's real, though. I've heard that's a dope joint.
I actually watched The Breaks, the first one that came out, and it's funny that we doing this right now because I was up late last night because I couldn't fucking sleep.
Right.
And The Breaks, the second one came on, The Breaks, and I just watched that until I fell out. And my man Exit, who I was on the phone with, which is another, like, I didn't know he was engineering this shit.
Okay.
You know, like Nas is involved, and there's a lot of people involved in this shit. DJ Premier is executive producer, but I love the fact that
DJ
it's real.
Premier, that's crazy.
See how this works?
It's so organic.
And listen how naturally that happened. Oh, Q. So we talk. So let's talk about this. Like, I like this show, right?
I do too.
I was telling, I was like, yo, I don't like TV unless it's the news, unless it's sports.
Yeah.
I don't like shit other than that. I checked that shit out last week, man. I was putting together some furniture, and I said, this is easily one of the dopest shows I've seen from top to bottom. You feel me? So when you look at a show like that, and you can take experience from that in real life.
There's a lot from that show that I've seen that looks like my hood.
That's what I'm trying to get to.
You know what I mean? It's not just the that building, I know that building. Like yesterday I saw my man in the barbershop. He owns his and hers barbershop on Myrtle Avenue.
Okay.
He was the one that was cutting Keith Sweat's hair in the joint.
Okay. I didn't see this episode that just came on. I gotta check it out though.
It was weird because I didn't see him at first, and I looked. I was like, "Oh, that's my man." You know, he an older cat. He an OG. But I know the barbershop. You know, everybody used to go to that barbershop when it was further down Myrtle, and then it moved up closer. But it's a lot about that hood that makes it real. You know, walking up and down the block, sitting in front of the projects. Like, we had park benches in the projects. So if you came outside, you could just sit outside on a bench and just chill. You know what I'm saying? If you was selling, you know what I mean? You put your dirt over there, and you go sit on the bench and chill. Like, it was cool. Fort Greene was cool.
Now see, this is an interesting question I got because it's funny, like how you say he done been in Kane crib when he was a shorty.
Listen, I done been in some places.
Dog, this is what I want to know, and this has always been something that I've always just kind of come up with in my mind, but I've heard so many stories about legendary artists that before they was who they was, they done battled in the mall, in the park. Like, I done heard about the infamous Jay-Z Big L shit. How common was it for you to see, because it's like when you talk about being able to be at Kane crib as a shorty, like, how common was it for just to be able to mix for artists and just mix up with artists that became legendary
for
artists?
Me, for me, it was
regular.
For me, it's weird because I wasn't into the project shit. You know, I wasn't into playing basketball. I wasn't into, like, we played certain games as kids, you know, but I wanted more. And I saw more. I just mentally saw more. And like I said, when the music came into effect, anything that had to do with music, I wanted to be a part of it. So I used to lead the projects. I ain't had no money. I would lead the projects. If I got $2, I'm on the train. My man tell me, yo, they got this joint going on up in the Bronx. You know, they got it out inside in the park. So-and-so's supposed to be here. This one's supposed to be here. Red Alert's supposed to be here, blah, blah, blah. So I was like, what? I'm there. I ain't got no money to eat. I can't get nothing to drink. But that ain't the point. My point is to be there. So you would see Dougie Fresh. You know what I'm saying? Like, it was weird. Dana Dane is my man to this day. Dana Dane is from Fort Greene Projects too.
Man.
You know, back in the day, I didn't know Dana because I was a kid.
Yeah.
But me and Dana, we boys, and we know what it is.
And see, this is so ill because this is what I was talking about. Like, you know, for us coming up, it was like if we would see like R. Kelly downtown, Portillo's or some shit every now and then, but we didn't just float around and just see motherfuckers.
In Brooklyn, you can run into just about anybody. Anybody.
It's not just, and it's crazy. Chicago, you know, it's a culture that people, once they make a certain name for themselves, they stay secluded purposely. But not just NY, like Atlanta. I took a trip to Atlanta some years back, man. It was a big music situation to go check out.
Yeah.
And it was a party. It was an ASCAP or it was a BMI party. Every fucking body that ran Atlanta in like 2008 or 9 was in this club. They were accessible.
I might have been there.
Fuck.
I might have been there.
No ID. No ID was the reason I was there with another guy.
Okay.
You feel what I'm saying? Shout out to No ID. That is one of the dopest producers out this shit. But what I'm saying is, you know, that was my first time meeting him, but it was everybody in this club.
Well, see,
and they were so fucking cool. Like, you walked up to him, it was like, Chicago, shit. You know what I'm saying?
But see, that's the ill shit. Like, listen to what you said. You running No ID there.
Yeah.
But it was so, like, we could
Because
never,
he had just got signed to Jermaine. He just signed with Jermaine Dupri.
It was like,
that's why.
Like, I've heard, like, say, for example, I got one of my homies that live in Harlem right now. He told me last year, he's like, I walk in the studio, I see Nas sitting on the couch. I'm like, nigga, what? Like, we don't see that kind of shit. Had never been able to see that kind of shit here.
Nothing.
You know what I'm saying? So it's been ill. So my question is, I want to know maybe around, take me to pre-reasonable. Pre-reasonable when it was bubbling, but when you started to getting involved with Jay and Roc-a-fella.
All right, I got to turn this off then. All right, put it like this. This is how I got involved with Jay. I used to walk downtown all the time. You know, like I used to be down there sometime with Mr. C.
Okay.
You know, I was down there one time when Mr. C got robbed.
Oh shit.
Yeah, he stepped in some shit, and this was the coldest shit to me I've ever seen in my life. Mr. C was big back then because Big Daddy Kane was big. Mr. C stepped in some shit. Had on I think he had on some shell toes.
Oh, you mean literally stepped
Yeah,
into
he
some
stepped in
shit?
some shit.
Oh, wow. Okay.
Stepped in a pile of shit.
Okay.
Some
I
dog
thought he
shit.
mean like some shit was going on.
Nah.
Some shit finna go down.
All right,
Nah,
keep it moving.
But you know what I mean? Like the hot spot to get kicks back in the day was Vims, VIMs, downtown Brooklyn. And he stepped in some shit, and you know, we just walking downtown. Of course, you know, I'm a broke kid. I ain't got no bread, but I'm just fucking with my man. You know, I'm just walking with one of the legends, as I say.
Yeah.
So he like, damn, I done stepped in some motherfucking shit. Man, come on, bro. We go to Vims real quick. So we go to Vims. I think he just gonna clean this shit off because these shits are brand new.
Right, fuck that.
My shits is turned over. My sneakers is beat. So I'm like, you better clean that shit. I'll clean that shit off. So we went downstairs and shit. He bought a new pair, put the shitty ones in the box, and told Pops, the dude at the joint, was like, yo, you can get rid of those. I'm like,
What the fuck?
those are brand new.
What kind of sneakers were they, though?
I think they were shell toes.
Okay.
I think they were shell because they was all white. And I'm like, yo, that's wild as hell. Who the fuck does that? This nigga got money. Yo, I need to be on that level where you could just throw a pair
of brand new
kicks away and buy a new pair
On
and
the
just
spot.
walk out. You're not even taking those with you? Like, you
That's
taking
crazy.
them shitty ass shoes? You know what I mean? And that wasn't a drug dealer.
Oh shit.
But what happened was, I used to be downtown all the time with my peeps. You know, we used to go to movies for free and all that shit. Big Jaz was one of the first rap artists signed to EMI.
Okay.
So Big Jaz videos used to come on Video Music Box, and I was always into it because Big Jaz just had an ill flow. Something about him just drew you to him. And then he came out with Hawaiian Sophie with Jay. I still didn't know these cats, but I'm like, man, I'm watching videos. I would make sure I knew what time to go home to watch the videos. It's like the karate flicks at 3:00 on Saturday, you know. So one day I'm downtown, and Jaz walks past me.
Just regular.
Now at this time, I'm like, you know, I'm into dancing. I don't give a fuck what it is. I just want to be a part of it.
Right.
So I see Jaz. He walks past me. I stop. I'm like, yo, that was Big Jaz. To myself, like I was talking to somebody else.
Yeah.
So I was like, fuck this. I went back across the street. I hollered at him, yo, Jaz. Hey, man, my name is Floyd, you know what I mean? I don't mean to bother you, you know what I'm saying? I dance, you know, because I knew he had to dance. My man Chase used to dance for him. I was like, yo, I dance, you know what I mean? I rap, all that. You know what I mean? I'm just trying to get in, man. And he was like, it was ill because he looked at me like, you know, first, who's this little nigga walking up on me? Because Jaz, he is a big dude. So then he was like, listen, give me your number. I'm gonna call you. I'm like, yeah, all right. So I gave him my number, you know, and then like 2 days later, I came home and my sister was like, some dude called you. And I'm like, who called? She said some dude named Jaz. I'm like, get the fuck out of here.
Just like that.
What the fuck he calling me for? Like, I know I gave him my number, but I ain't know the nigga was really gonna call.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So it was weird because it was like, you know, you a kid in the candy stores, like, you know, or you bitch made now because you all happy and jittery and shit. So it's like, oh shit, this motherfucker really called me. You know what I mean? I'm gonna keep it 100. You know what I'm saying? So you like, yo, what the fuck? Shit. So he was like, yo, did he leave a number? He's like, yeah, here's his number right here. Call him. So I called him, said, Jaz, this is Floyd. So he's like, oh, what's up, homie? What's up, little homie? And it was wild because at that point, Jaz never took me to the studio. I never went on no tours. I almost went on Big Daddy Kane tour one time, but I'll get back into that. Mm-hmm. But he never took me anywhere. Mm-hmm. He would just be like, yo, meet me downtown. Mm-hmm. So we go downtown because he on a shopping spree. He never bought me shit. Mm. But he would just school me about the business. Mm-hmm. Music business. There's a difference between music and music business. Yeah. And he would just school me about the business and school me about this and that. And it was an ill time because I could imagine a camera being there and somebody filming this shit and really soaking in the knowledge that he was giving. Mm-hmm. I mean, every other day he's calling me and we downtown. Mm-hmm. And then that transpired into me meeting B-High, Jay's cousin. Yeah. Jay's cousin is still with him to this day. Mm-hmm. And then I met Tata. Mm-hmm. And then I met Jay. I actually met Jay on a video set for Big Daddy Kane. Okay. Big Daddy Kane did a video in Lafayette Gardens projects with Ski.
The producers. Right?
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Remember he had the group, what was the name of the group? Original Flavor.
Okay. Yeah.
And he did the video was a Good Times theme.
Okay.
It was a Good Times theme.
Okay.
And Shaheem was there, little Shaheem. Mm-hmm. Like, it was a lot of people there. I got drunk as shit that day, too. Niggas gave me a 40 ounce. I went crazy on that joint. The Vid Kid had to come on the fucking trailer and check on me and make sure I was good, because I was fucked up. Niggas in the trailer rolling dice. We was rolling CeeLo and shit back there.
Oh, shit.
But it was an ill era, and I met Jay then. That's when Jay had just bought the Black Pathfinder off of Dame. Dame owned the Black Pathfinder. And Jay had bought it off of him. And then that's shit started moving kind of quickly after that. You know, with me meeting Big Jaz, and then next thing I know, I'm with B-High all the time.
Now, how old were you at this point?
Oh man, I don't remember. 17, 18.
Man.
I wanted to ask that too, man.
Was it
like,
17,
damn.
18?
Something in there.
Somewhere in there.
A grown man, but just not legal. Legal.
Yeah, because I was still, I'm still at mom's crib.
Right.
And going through it. But it was like once I met B-High, they used to throw these parties and shit to get money. So him and Jaz was partners. So they used to throw parties and shit, and I started just hanging out with them. I wasn't doing shit in the projects. Niggas told me to come, I'm out. Jay lived on State Street. Right across where the Barclays is at right now. So State Street, Lord Jamar used to live in that building too. So I used to be over at their crib all the time. He had an ill duplex. I never seen no shit like that before. You know what I mean? The motherfucker got a duplex and shit. So him and Tata, I think him and B-High was living together at the time. One of them, him and Tata or B-High, but everybody was always at the crib. So I'm going to these parties with them, helping them, do whatever needed to get done. I was there to get done. And then everything was going on outside of his crib. That's when Jay-Z had the Jay-Z t-shirts, and then he had got the Lexus with the TVs in it. So we used to go to like Spike Lee's block party and just give out t-shirts right out the car.
So at this point,
I'm in.
You're in. Okay.
I'm in.
Okay.
I'm in because I think they saw something in me that I was hungry, and I wanted to be a part of this thing that I didn't know what was happening.
Yeah.
But you can feel something that's gonna be special.
Yeah.
And anytime I heard Jay rap, it was special.
Yeah.
And Jay rapped 100 miles a minute. but you could understand everything he said.
Everything he said.
And that was me. It just took me somewhere else.
Now this is before, but this is pre.
This is No Reasonable Doubt has been put out.
Okay, this is when he was still on the
recording.
double time flow.
Yeah.
Okay.
And I started going to studio with Jaz a lot. You know, we was going to D&D Studios. D&D Studios is legendary.
Yeah, know about that.
So I'm in there and I'm around the best in the world. You know, DJ Premier, he in there all the time. He actually wound up buying the studio.
Yeah.
He actually wound up buying it.
Did.
Get out of here.
Yeah, he did.
Yeah.
He talked about that recently.
Dave and Doug was the owners of D&D Studio. And at some point, I don't remember when, but at some point, Premier bought it. I remember going to the studio one time, just to jump off real quick, and Premier was in the studio, and I'm in his room. And there's a bunch of weed on the motherfucking table. It was actually on the turntable. The turntable wasn't moving, of course. Right. You know, somebody was about to roll up something. And he was working on one of his Nas joints. And I forget what record it was.
I wonder if it was Nas's like.
It was one of them ill joints. And then it was for me to see the process of how Premier was doing what he was doing was special. Yeah. You know what I mean? Like, I'm a fly on the wall. Like, I could write a book right now and be called The Fly on the Wall. Because, like, who the fuck is this little nigga in here? But I was always in D&D. Attention. So cats wound up knowing me in D&D. Like, I didn't have to go up there with Jaz. I go up there, hey, and they let me in. Yeah. And I'm in there. I would go to the pool table and hang out with the pool table and go in the booth and see what was going on. You know, and I wasn't no engineer, none of that shit. You know, I regret not learning it, you know. But I started hanging out with them more and more. And then B-High one day called me, and he was like, yo, what are you doing? And at this point, I was working out. I think I was working. I don't know. But he was like, yo, they just got the office. Oh, my God. Dame and them just got the office on where was that office at? On John Street. He said, yo, you need to go down there and intern. You know, there ain't nobody down there. They need people down there. This is B-High. B-High already, B-High always got a fucking vision. I hope B-High hear this one day because I'm not trying to blow him up or nothing. He was just that motherfucker that had a vision. He could see shit. And he knew something was special was going to happen. Plus, Jay's his cousin. Yeah. So everybody knew how, like, Jay was just dope, period. Yeah. So now I'm going, he told me to go up there. I went up there like 7 in the fucking morning. I didn't know the music business starts at 10. 7 in the fucking morning, ain't nobody there. I'm calling B-High mad much because I got quarters in my pocket because I ain't got no cell phone. Yo, B, ain't nobody here. He's like, what? You there now? He's like, I'm like, yeah. He said, man, Omi gonna be there soon. You know, she should be there by like 10. I'm like, damn.
7 o'clock.
Yeah. So I'm like, what the fuck I'm gonna do? Right. Because I could walk back across the Brooklyn Bridge and I'm back in the projects. I'm home. But then I might have to come back. So, you know, or don't come back, say fuck it. Right. But I was like, nah, fuck that. B-High told me to be here, so I'm gonna be here. So I just waited.
So, okay, now this was the actual Roc office?
Yeah, this was the first Roc office.
First Roc office, okay.
And Omi finally came. I went upstairs. I told her that B-High sent me, you know, to do whatever. You know?
Okay, now tell me what the process was, because I've always heard that Jay was trying to, before they decided to do it themselves, he was trying to get on.
Every label that was out at the time turned him down.
Damn.
Every label.
That's just crazy.
That's why it's weird. It's weird to me because he actually has people working for him right now that were part of the labels that turned them down, and some of them were the people who turned them down.
Oh shit! Tell me what the atmosphere was like being around, knowing that Jay, this label didn't take him at that time. Like, what was the atmosphere like back around that camp of Jay's?
We didn't give a fuck. Because once they figured out how to do it themselves, it's like fuck these labels. We gonna find a way for these labels to motherfucking pay us. Because all you really need was distribution.
That's crazy.
You know, I mean, like Master P is the best who ever did it. You know, that motherfucker. It would never be another deal like a Master P deal.
Probably not.
Now I listened to Clark Kent tell a story.
Well, Clark is the one who really made it happen.
Yeah, I listened to him tell a story once about the session for Brooklyn's Finest, and he said that, I want to say he came in and he told Jay, you need to do a joint with Big. And Dame was like, we're not giving Puff shit. He was like,
because you have the rivalry. Puff was big. Puff was bad boy. You know, Puff was like untouchable.
Now, before Reasonable Doubt drop, was Big aware of what Jay had brewing?
I can't
being
really,
a Brooklyn nigga,
I can't really say he did or he didn't because even at that time I didn't focus on Big too much. Okay, put it like this: I knew about Big. I used to work at this nightclub back in the day called the Arena, and Big, one of his boys used to go to school with me, and when they came in, they had the 666 on a vest jackets, and that was like partying bullshit.
Okay.
You know what I mean? Like that wasn't even a single. You know what I mean? They put that out, and it was just one of them joints.
Right.
So Big was known. Jay was still trying to get his way through.
Right.
You know what I mean? It wasn't no Reasonable Doubt. Wasn't even no thought about that. You know, they was doing what they was doing. I think Jay was actually still on the road, you know, going to VA, getting his money. You know, but at the same time, trying to think about this rap game at the same time.
Yeah.
Because I didn't hook up with them at that point.
Okay.
Like I said, I've been around a lot of shit.
Okay.
And then, but I think that at some point they knew about each other and just understood that they both was dope.
So did you ever get a chance to meet Big?
Yeah.
Nice.
Yeah,
That's
many
dope.
times.
When's the last time you
dope.
heard somebody tell you they met Big? I'm going there with that.
That's
right?
dope, man.
Big in Brooklyn was big in Brooklyn. It really was like if Big made it, like Brooklyn made it. You know what I mean? Even when Jay made it, it wasn't like Brooklyn made it. You know what I'm saying? When Big made it, it was like Brooklyn, we all here with you. It was untouchable. It was a feeling. Like even with Big, like I saw Big pull up one day. I was somewhere by his block, by his mom's block, and he pulled up and he's in this big body Benz, and the windows look bulletproof and shit. So he had this aura about him. You know what I mean? He just had this aura about him that he was special. Like you could be a stranger and walk past him, don't even know who the fuck he is, but you would know that he was special in some kind of way. You know, I remember one night me and Jay and I think Tata was out. Funny shit ever. We was out, you know, and I'm still wet behind the ears a little bit, you know, getting in tune because these dudes was really thorough about everything they did. So I'm learning.
Yeah.
So we in the club and it was mad bitches in the club this night. So Big was like, "Yo, Jay, like what y'all going through?" Like we had just walked in. So he's like, "Yo, Jay," he's like, we know we chilling. We got some bitches and shit, blah blah blah. So Big was like, "Nah, fuck that. You want to take all them bitches back to Jersey? We gonna get it in. Yo, C's, like really like C's, go get the truck ready type shit. Like we out." And Jay and them was like, "Nah, Big, we just got here. We chilling." You know what I'm saying? And we was trying to take the bitches back to State Street. so we ain't trying to do this shit that you trying to do. But we fuck with you though.
Oh
That
shit.
shit crazy. Do you think now looking at that era of music out of what you just told us, do you think as being the age you are now, man, did you ever think back then that I'm gonna be able to look back and say, fuck, like I seen some shit? Like a lot of people say in their life, like, yo, I knew this was going on at this time. You know what I mean? I knew this was going on at this time, and I knew I was gonna be able to look back and be like, yo, I lived there. I saw it.
I couldn't say if I was gonna be able to be like, yeah, you know, that this was gonna be some big shit
Right.
at the time. Because you walking through it. You know what I mean?
And you involved.
Yeah,
probably.
you're involved
So
and
you're
you
not
walking
looking.
through it. So you're not looking on the outside thinking that it's gonna be super big. But when I really got in there, when I was in the office, banging out phone calls to Hot 97, you know, to WBLS and shit, I used to make cold calls asking for Ain't No Nigga. But at that time, you still didn't feel like it was gonna be huge. But in your heart, you knew you was fucking with something that was real. Now, I'm gonna tell you how real it was for me. I was working for Taj Gibson's dad at the time at a furniture company. And I was working for him at the time. You know, we go out, office furniture, whatever, buy buildings and shit. And, you know, I'm doing grunt work. And that's when I started interning with Roc. I had a fucking job. So it's like, how much time can you spend between working and going to be an intern?
Yeah.
So I went to Pops. That's why I call Taj Gibson. I call his Pops my dad. So I call him Pops. So I went to Pops and like, listen, I need to ask you something because it's something I need to do. And he's like, what's good? So I'm like, I need to actually take like 2-3 days out of work. And then the rest of the days I give to you. you know, because it's something I feel that's part of what I'm trying to do, and I'm not getting paid for it, but I feel like I need to do this. So he was like, listen, at the end of the day, this is your life, this is what you want to do. And I told him, I said, yo, at the end of the day, you ain't losing no money.
Yeah.
I am.
Yeah.
I'm the one losing bread. So
Yeah.
you came up.
Yeah.
No, I'm going home with it for less bag.
Right.
So he was like, go ahead and do it. So I went down there, I started interning for like 2 days. 2 days out the week, and then I would go to work. And then it got so, I was doing so good at making these calls, you know, I would not leave that phone alone. I picked that phone up, and I wouldn't even put the phone down. I and then hang up, call the next line, because I had a whole sheet of radios to call. And
This is before
the album didn't even come out yet.
Okay.
The Ain't No Nigga was the first single.
Right.
So that's what I'm trying to get out to everybody.
Okay.
And then I finally said, I went back to Pops and was like, listen, I need to quit.
It was time.
It was just that time. I
time.
felt it in my heart.
You
that
felt
was
it was about to
time.
blow.
Nobody told me to quit. Nobody told me to go down there. I just said, it's time. I'm going to have to take the sacrifice. And I had my girl at the time who became, later on, she became a program director for, I think, Hot 97. Donisha Benjamin. Like, it was weird. This whole shit is crazy to me. But she was my girl at the time, and I asked her, I was like, listen, I'm about to make a sacrifice. You know, and I wanted to know if you still gonna fuck with me, because I ain't gonna really have no money for us to go out and eat and all that shit. You know, and she's like, nah, I got your back. So I was like, cool. So that was my check to go.
Yeah.
So she made it okay, so I'm out.
You good.
So Pop said, do what you got to do, I'm out. So I went down there fully and interned. And I was there every fucking day, every morning, on time. Tata, ask Tata to this day if you ever meet Tata. I used to walk across the Brooklyn Bridge because I had no money. Like, sometimes I would get a ride from J&M. I would definitely get a ride from them going home, you know, because we all in the same area. Or I would just go back to State Street with them. But niggas caught me walking across the bridge one day. I ain't got no bread, but I got to get to work. So I got in the office, and Tata was like, yo, let me ask you a question. I said, what's up? He's like, yo, did I just see you walking across the Brooklyn Bridge? I was like, yeah, what's the problem? He's like, what the hell you doing on the bridge? I said, because I had to get here. I got work to do. He was like, yo, that's ill, son. That's ill. I was like, I ain't got no money, but the bridge is right by my house. So ain't nothing for me to get up and foot it.
How long of a walk was it, though?
It was a decent walk, but it's one foot in front of the other.
Right.
If anybody understands grind, like
going.
real grind,
Yeah.
it's one foot in front of the other. You ain't stopping. At some point, I'm going to get to my destination.
Right.
True that.
If I stand on this bridge and be on this bridge all day, then I ain't achieved what I was supposed to achieve.
Right.
That's just the problem with these kids today. They don't have no grind in them.
None of it.
Move forward. I'm not moving backwards. Move forward. And that shit, nothing ever stopped me.
Yeah.
My moms didn't stop me. My grandmoms, God rest my grandmoms, my nana is my heart. That's my rock. My grandmother, you know, of course she's my heart too, but my grandmother was the one when my mom was trying to stop me, like, music business is full of the devil, and you know, you got this and
We
all
all
that.
went through that.
Yeah.
Right.
So my grandmother was on the phone with me, and she's like, listen, if you want to do this music thing, and that's what's in your heart, then you need to go ahead and do it. Don't worry about your mama. You know your mama crazy. I'm like, damn, this coming from grandma. She just called mommy crazy.
She outranked her.
Yeah, it's outranked her like a
True
motherfucker.
story, outranked. Yeah.
So I'm on the phone like, yo, that's ill. Grandma, I thought grandma was gonna tell me to back down and you know, and chill.
Yeah.
She's like, no, you go full force and you do that, because at the end of the day, this is your life.
Yeah.
This is not your mama life. You got to see this through. And I hung up the phone and I never stopped.
Ew.
I wish she was here today to see how everything turned out.
So take us to the moment where Ain't No Nigga makes the Nutty Professor soundtrack. And
Well,
y'all-
Ain't No Nigga killed the charts. Like, you can hear banging in the street everywhere. Everybody's car.
So take us to that moment when it took off.
When it took off, it was right after we really dropped it. Like, right after we dropped it, it just took the fuck off. It was one of them things that just couldn't. It had no ending to it. You know, I'm in the hood. I don't know where all these cats is at. I don't know where the rest of the office goes. I go back to Brooklyn. I go back to Fort Greene. Ain't nothing fake about it.
Right.
So if you see a car coming down the street and it's bumping something, that's real.
Yeah.
So I hear something I'm working on. You know what I mean? That was special to me. Like, yo, that's my man's.
Yeah.
You know, and then you hear cats in the projects with the radios outside, and they playing it. It became an anthem, and it was just that joint. When it hit the Nutty Professor album soundtrack, to me, it was already big.
It was already big.
It was already big.
Right.
You know, that just helped it just, go over to that other level. But you couldn't stop that after that. And you couldn't stop Jay after that.
Now, let me ask you, was it after that record took off that he was like, let me get in and grind this album, or was Reasonable already in progress?
I think Reasonable was already in progress because we was in the studio a lot.
Okay.
We was in the studio a lot. I mean, it was every other night niggas in the studio until like 6, 7 in the morning. Like, the studio, what people don't understand about the studio, if like, I'm not saying these new rappers today because I don't know what they do in the studio.
Yeah.
But I know what these cats did in the studio. They stayed in the damn studio. Like, there's no, I'm getting out.
Yeah.
If I leave out of here 6 o'clock this morning, I'm coming back tonight to finish this.
Yeah.
If I gotta spend this money to finish this, then I'm gonna spend this money to finish it. And then these cats are doing shit independently. So they taking their money, and they putting it into work. And Jay was in the studio on a regular basis. I remember sometimes Jay, like, I used to drive him around all the time. No license having ass nigga that I was. But, he used to send me down to go, like, I was the intern dad, so I would go get the lunch. Wendy's, them niggas always was, yo, give me a chicken sandwich. Yo, Sharp, my name was F Sharp. So, yo, Sharp, go get me a chicken sandwich, get this nigga double cheese, get yourself whatever. So I'm on the phone, banging the phones, and then I gotta go get lunch for these niggas. And then when the day's over, I gotta go get the car. I gotta go get his Lexus out the garage and pull it up front and wait for them to come downstairs. That whole era was just a beautiful era. Excuse me. I done forgot your damn question and shit.
Oh, no. This was when I was just asking about the progress of Reasonable.
Yeah, so like I said, they was in the studio all the time.
All the time.
Every time you turn around, Jay was in the studio, and then sometimes he would come out, like, if I was with him, he'd be like, yo, check this out, listen to this. What you think about that? Like, he really wanted somebody's opinion on what he was doing. He knew what he was doing was dope, but you still wanted somebody's opinion.
Yeah.
My opinion, I didn't think counted.
Yeah.
But when somebody like him asked me, like, yeah.
Yeah.
But and it's funny. What's funny about Jay is that Jay's always been a regular dude. But I used to feel weird being around him because he had an aura about him that, like, he was the fucking president. With how quiet he was, but still loud.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? If he walked into the room, you knew that he was in that motherfucking room. Yeah. Like, everything would just turn towards him. Like, it was crazy. So when I'm with him one-on-one and we just in the car and he vibing or he talking to his lawyer, you know what I'm saying? Like, we going shopping and shit. Well, he going shopping. It felt crazy. Like, one time I asked him, I was like, yo, why the fuck am I here? Like, I just need to know, man. Like, I ain't nothing shit out that special. I ain't talented on no level to myself that I thought was special. Yeah. So why the fuck am I here? And he was like, Dad, like, you work hard and you fight, because we got into some fights, and I'm a fight for my clique.
There it is.
You know what I mean? Hey, man, if somebody jump in one of my dudes, we going in. I don't care about nothing else.
Now let's go back to Fort Greene. When did you know that Taj was a special talent coming up?
Well, I've been with Taj since he was literally in diapers. Like I said, I was already a part of his family, right? Because I was working for his dad. Okay. His dad actually came out and to his sister one time and was like, "Yo, is dude working?" And she was like, "I don't know." He said, "Well, here, give him this paper, tell him to fill it out, and give it back to me." And at this point, I'd never been to his crib or nothing like that. Me and sister, we was kicking it. We were just cool. And she gave me the paper. I filled that shit out right then and there. I was like, what, a job? Shit, I'm broke as hell.
Oh, shit.
So I gave that shit right back. It was a W-2 form.
Oh, shit.
Not an application, it was a W-2 form. That's real.
Yeah.
Yeah, you can have this back, bro. Here you go. When do I start? And he took me under his wing. I love Dad to this day because he took me under his wing and he put me to work, and I went to work every fucking day. And then I would go to his crib, like, we would get off of work, we go home together. And I would go to his crib, he was married, he got his wife, got his daughter, got Taj. Ajay wasn't even born yet. Ajay's the youngest one. He wasn't even born yet. And we used to go to the crib, and Taj would come running out the back. He always just wanted to be up front with us, you know, whether he was watching TV, watching the game or whatever, or me and his sister was up front just talking and shit.
Yeah.
And as he started getting older, you know, he just wanted to. He used to ride his bikes and skateboards and shit like that. He wasn't tall. And being from Fort Greene, if you wanted to play ball, you had to really play ball. Like, I played ball, but I just wasn't special. You know, music was my passion. Ball wasn't my passion, but I go out there and play with the best of them.
Right.
You know, Cash used to get mad at me because he's like, "Oh man, you fouling me all
Fouling
the
the
time."
shit out of me.
You know what I mean? And I'm like,
What you
"Nigga,
want?
fuck that fouling shit, nigga. Get past me.
Get past.
Me, nigga." You know,
Bragging.
develop a nice outside shot. I was always scared to drive inside because we in the projects.
Niggas is gonna give you a
niggas gonna
close
set you
ride.
up. They gonna set you up.
That's the Anthony Mason, Charles Oakley shit.
for real.
You know, we Knicks fans. You come down this middle if you want to, you're gonna get dealt with.
You gonna get dealt with.
You know, but the cats that was doing it was nice. You know what I mean? Yeah. So when Taj, when he actually started playing basketball, because he used to watch Dad play all the time, right there in the hood, because as soon as you walk out the building, you got 4 courts right there. So everything was basketball. Basketball, music, and drugs.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? That was right there in the middle of the hood.
Yeah.
So he used to see his pops play all the time. And he started gravitating towards it. And at that time, you still can't tell, you know, if somebody's special or not.
Yeah.
But there was one summer, he fucking just took off. I don't know where this hype came from.
Just
It was
shot
just
up
one summer. The summer just, what the fuck?
Was his old man tall as fuck?
Pops is tall, but not as tall as Taj.
Not like Taj.
Nah, Taj, he.
Now, how old was he when he hit that growth spurt?
Oh man, I don't remember how old he was. I was with Jay and him at the time. I was with Jay and him at the time. I was in my 20s, I think. I don't know. But once he started doing it, what happened with him was when he felt he got a liking for the game, but then he got a liking for the travel. Because if you play ball, you can go to this court, you can go to that court, and the nicer you get, you can go to this court,
Early
go to that court.
early
Oh yeah,
AAU
y'all
experience.
shit.
Yeah.
Y'all park shit was real.
Yeah, we got parks everywhere with
yeah.
great games. And then he went to Gauchos. Once he went to Gauchos, it was pretty much a wrap. Because the twins that ran the Gauchos, they loved him. They loved him, you know. And this is a skinny fucking kid from Brooklyn. You know, he wasn't no drug dealer. He wasn't no drug user. He didn't drink. He wasn't hanging out with these type of dudes. He was hanging out with his boys that just rode skateboards and bikes. You know, but he worked on his game on a daily. Everything was basketball for him at that point.
So you didn't even have to do much to keep him in line because he was already focused on
He was already focused.
Okay.
You know, there was some nights that, you know, I'll be at mom's crib and we'll go outside 2, 3 in the morning, shoot around. You know, like a lot of cats can't tell me a lot of things about him because I was there.
You were there.
You know, there's cats with him, even his friends, you know, I was there. You know what I mean? Like, that's my man.
Now tell me his mentality when he got drafted to the Bulls, because if I'm not mistaken, he got drafted
26,
and behind,
James Johnson.
but didn't we get Tyrese Thomas that year too?
That was before us. That was a year before.
That was the year before.
Yeah.
But he was supposed to be the prize power forward for the Bulls. What was his mentality once he got in the league to where he just...
First of all, when you get drafted, it's surreal. We was together the night that he got drafted, draft night, and we was all at mom's crib. We didn't go down to the garden. He didn't want to go down there. We had a hotel room, a suite up in the city.
Yeah.
Didn't want to go there. So we was just him, his boys, and me. We just all up in mom's crib, and we watching the draft. So, you know, you go from 1, 6, 7. You like, damn.
Where did he think
drafted.
he was going to go?
We got the call from the agent that he was gonna go first. He was gonna go first round. We didn't know when. Or you know, sometimes your shit drops, and you know, cats wasn't feeling him like they didn't. I guess a lot of the places didn't believe in him.
Wasn't on the radar.
Yeah, you know what I mean. They knew who he was because he broke records in school at USC.
Oh.
That's you.
I did it. Goddamn it. Hey, shit, man, I've been sitting down for a long time. It's stretch, nigga.
He broke records at USC, and he was known for defense. They didn't really understand that he had offense too. coming from Brooklyn, coming from all these games that he played, yes, he got offense. You know what I mean? But when they finally called his name, because James Johnson, who's like a little brother to me too, he had got picked 16.
Okay.
You know, and it was like, okay, you know, I didn't know James at the time.
We did get them at the same time.
Yeah.
Right. Okay.
So then we done went into the 20s. We like, damn, we still didn't get picked. Fuck. Like, we don't want to go second round.
Yeah.
So then it's still going down, 24, 25. Then the phone rang. So he answered the phone. And his agent told him, okay, yeah, the ball's going to take you on 26.
Nice.
So he said, yo, they're going to take me. I was like, who? He's like, the ball's going to take me. Then that's when the commission came out and was like, with the 26 picks, Chicago Bulls picked Ty. That's all we heard.
and they went
Ty.
out.
We was like, we got water all over the fucking couch and shit. You know, glad moms wasn't home. We had water everywhere. We was just yelling, screaming and shit. We was like, yo, all right, get in the car. We got to go. I had my man, I wasn't even working with Jay at the time when he got drafted. I was working with Akon at the time.
Yeah.
I was working with Akon at the time when he got drafted. So I had my Denali outside. So we hopped in the Denali and we drove to the city to go to the hotel. You know, because moms, the family, everybody was at the hotel. So you walked in, everybody was screaming, ah! So he was still, his nerves was popping. You know what I mean? Because this just happened. This is a reality. But did it really just happen?
Yeah.
And I don't think it actually really fucking hit him until he flew out here to sign his contract. I think that's when it really hit him. I wasn't with him at the time when he came out here and signed his contract, but we was on the phone a lot, and he was like, "Yo, bro, like this is really happening. Like I'm here. Like Derrick Rose is over there. You know what I'm saying? Like this is crazy. Like this is the house that Jordan built.
Wow.
You know." And I was like, man, I'm loving it for you, bro.
Yeah.
I'm loving it for you. Like, this is a beautiful thing.
Great.
Coming from where we come from, you know, not just me in general, but y'all, you know, we as black people, where we come from, this doesn't happen.
Yeah.
This doesn't happen. You don't see this. You don't see people that make it out and that stay out.
So going back to the period after this all happened, right? Like you celebrate, but at the same time, you know, it's game time.
Yeah,
you know what
it's
I
time
mean?
to work.
It's time to work. Do you think how's Taj's attitude coming to Chicago aside of the fact that, yo, I'm coming to Chicago to hoop? Like, did he want to be here?
Yeah, he wanted to be here. He was nothing more than proud to be a Chicago Bull.
Okay.
Nothing more than proud.
And my reason for that, like, you know what I mean? Like, I remember interviewing E'Twaun Moore last year. Shout out E'Twaun Moore, man. And one of the questions I asked him was, like, he's from Indiana, so he's not far.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? One of the questions I asked him was like, yo, how did you feel coming to Chicago from right across the water, so to say, in Indiana? And it was like in his voice, before he could answer, it just sounded like he was gonna tell me, like, bro, it's a dream come true.
Yeah.
But what he definitely said was, of course he wanted to be here. He loved Chicago, but it was like, I don't remember him saying like he expected to be here. You know what I mean? Like, Taj Taj not expecting to be here because he got drafted.
Yeah.
And you guys celebrated it like that. How do you feel when you came to Chicago?
Well, I didn't expect to be here.
You didn't?
I didn't expect to be here. I mean, once he got drafted, I was still working with Akon. I was traveling the world.
Okay.
Now let's veer to there, because I've always wanted to. I would see these pictures and I'm like, yo, he's like the most interesting man in the world. Like the Dos Equis dude. Like he's like,
let's get some Dos Equis in here. Shout out to Dos Equis.
Like,
we need a deal.
He's in Africa on stage with Akon. How did this relationship happen? What were you doing with Akon?
I'm a fly on the wall.
There it is.
I'm a fly on the wall.
That's your book, though, yo.
No, actually, the book, because I've been trying to write this book for quite a while, and the title of the book is actually going to be called "Looking Out the Window in the Projects."
Looking out my project window.
Yeah, because
that's big.
I used to look out the window all the time because there's a highway in front of my house, and I could see the planes coming in, going into the airport. Going into LaGuardia.
Oh, okay.
You know, and I would see the planes coming in, and I could see the Twin Towers from my house, because I live on the 6th floor, so I could see all of that from the house. And I would always wonder where these cars are going. Who's in that car?
Yeah.
Who's in that plane? I used to really sit there and read books and just want these two people walking down the street right now. Where the fuck are they going?
Where they going?
So I'm a kid looking out the project window, but I got a vision. Like I see more than what's on the other side of the project window.
Yeah.
The other side of the project window is the projects.
Yeah.
I didn't stay on that side. I didn't look on that side.
You looked out.
I looked on the out.
That's big.
What's out here? What's on this
out
side?
there? What's over there?
That's big.
Yo.
But the Akon shit was my man Big Ja, again from Fort Greene. He lived in 5 Fleet Walk. I lived in 8. He went to school with my brother, and Big Ja had got locked up. You know, I know he don't mind me telling this because he's home, but he had got locked up. He was doing Fed time, and when he got knocked, we used to get on the phone with him at my godfather's house. God rest my godfather. We used to go to my godfather's house and play fucking cards and shit, fuck bitches, you know, drink. Because that was the crib, like, you know, Godfather didn't give a fuck. We come over there and come hang out with him, make sure Godfather eat and shit.
Yeah.
He was the OG. And he was everybody's godfather. So sometimes, like, my man Yak would get a phone call and it'd be Ja. So we all pass the phone around, talk to Ja. And then something happened with his case. You know, there was some bullshit technicality that they fucked up on, so they got to let him go home. So when he came home, of course, you know, he back in the hood. He had Godfather crib. So it's all love. So if you hear Jay talk about Klein, Klein with the green 5, I think he said in the rhyme, Klein was real, and Klein wasn't that nigga to fuck with. Klein looked like a quiet motherfucker, but he'll put a cap in you if he has to.
That's Calvin Klein.
Yeah.
Right? I've seen the story on this guy.
Like this, and Calvin Klein, like Klein, I can't say Calvin because it sounds crazy. Klein, me and him became cool friends too. And like one time he schooled me about some shit. It was just me and him in the project building in front of my building, and he schooled me about some shit, and it was real. You know, and I took that to heart, and I took that with me. I never told nobody about the conversation, but I took it with me and ran with it. But Klein and Ja was boys, and Klein was working for Akon. So when Ja came home, Klein put Ja on as security, and Ja's a hustler. He's a true-born fucking hustler, and somehow or another that turned into Ja becoming Akon's manager. Like you couldn't do a deal without Ja.
Damn.
You know, Ja knew the shit. He knew how to do the business. Like, Ja was back. Let's take it back. Ja was back there when I was with King.
Oh shit.
Yeah.
So you talk about somebody when they come home and you taking full advantage of this.
Yeah. You know, motherfuckers make sure you got your bread in your pocket. Some cats owe you some bread. You know what I'm saying? But for a cat to put you on, like, yo, I'm gonna do this for you. And you come on at security and turn that shit into becoming his fucking manager.
That's crazy.
You know what I mean? Like, you getting money.
Yeah.
I remember Ja coming home and he just regular. You know what I'm saying? And then he would go out of town and be gone for a while. Then he come back. This motherfucker had a rose gold fucking bracelet on or some shit with diamonds in it. Leave again. He come back. This nigga got a Rolex on. I'm like, yo, what the fuck is you doing?
What's going on?
You're like, yeah, nigga, you know you just came home. You know, and he wasn't like, he didn't disclose the fact that he was with Khan. At this point, he was focused.
Yeah.
He was really focused. And then he came back again. He had the convict chain on, rose gold. Everything was rose gold, diamonds everywhere. I'm like, this nigga flossing. So he used to call me every now and then because he didn't have his license and be like, yo, I need you to drive me around. Give me a couple of dollars and shit, and I drive him around because he knew I was legal. And, you know, me and him built a better friendship and a better bond as brothers through that, you know. And then what happened was I was working, I had stopped working in the music business. I had to get a regular job, got married. You know, shit was just crazy at the time. So I'm going to work every day. I know one time he called me. He was like, yo, I might have something for you. So at this time, I already knew he was with Khan. And I was already I told my wife, like, yo, download Akon's music to my shit. You know, didn't know what was going to happen. Then he was like, yo, I need you to drive Akon around. I'm like, what? He's like, yo, I need you to drive him around because the overhead right now with the money we paying for these car services don't make sense. It ain't adding up. We got Benzes and Range Rovers and all of this shit. So I'm going to give you the keys to the car. When you come in town, I'll come get you. And then you just drive him around wherever the fuck you need to go. You know, stay with him. I was like, cool. So at this time, I'm still working. Like, I used to take days off and shit. Like, I'd tell my manager I can't come in today.
It's almost like full circle.
Yeah.
When you started with the rock.
Exactly. So I used to tell him, like, yo, I can't come in today. I would always get somebody to cover me and shit, you know, and then I would just drive him around all day long, you know, lawyer's office, hotel, and I would never talk to him. I would just drive and make sure he was straight. You know what I mean? I didn't have no hammer on me or nothing. I just wasn't, you know, if something popped off, it was what it was. You know, but we wasn't in that element, though. I never drove him to the projects and shit like that, you know. And it was crazy because every now and then he'll talk to me and I'll be playing certain music in the car that I fuck with, old school R&B and shit. Yeah. Sometimes he'll get in the car and be like, yo, what's that? And I'll look at, nigga, how you don't know what that is? That's Hellman Blue Notes.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, it was, and we just built a friendship, but I still wasn't too talkative because to me, you wasn't supposed to talk. You're supposed to do your job.
Yeah, do your job.
I'm not trying to get friendly with you.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? And I'm not trying to lose my fucking place either.
Right.
You're like, dude, this nigga talk too much. Get him out of here.
Right. Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So that transpired into I'm driving around all the time now. I'm taking days off from work like crazy. And sick days, all kind of shit.
Just juking him.
Yeah. So one day he was like, Khan was like, yo, you ready for the tour? And I'm like, ready for the tour? What you talking about? Because John didn't say nothing to me. He's like, yo, you ready for the tour? Like, we going on tour. We going on tour with Gwen Stefani. I'm like, Gwen Stefani?
Did you know who she was?
Yeah.
At the moment? Okay.
Hell yeah.
So you knew she was a superstar.
Yeah. But why y'all want me to go?
Yeah.
I ain't no fucking musician. You know what I mean? Like, what the fuck I'm supposed to do?
You squad now.
You know? But it wound up turning out to be a really good thing. But it was crazy because when that happened, like, Taj wasn't drafted yet. Taj wasn't drafted yet. They the ones who got me the Denali. They bought me a fucking white Denali. You know, after me driving around all the time and shit. I was supposed to get a BMW. I was supposed to, me and Ja went down to go get the BMW, but the dude was acting flaky. So Ja he literally took the fucking cashier's check out of dude's hand, said, fuck you, and walked out. And I'm like, no, I want this fucking car. Motherfucking 750?
Dog, that was my dream car.
I was like, nah, man, I want a fucking 2001 Denali or some shit. But it was cool because the day that they gave me the Denali, they told me I was fired.
Get out of here.
Yeah, we was staying at the W Hotel. We were staying at the W Hotel, and I was like a floor down or a door down from Khan. So Ja called me. It's like, yo, come to Khan's room real quick. So I came to Khan's room, and it was just me, Khan, and Ja. And he was like, yeah, so this is what's going on. This ain't working out. I'm like, this ain't working out. Fuck you talking about? Like, nigga, we good. I know what I'm doing. He's like, nah, this ain't working out. Khan ain't feeling this, so we gonna have to let you go. My heart was crushed. My emotions got the best of me, and I damn near cried.
Shit.
And them niggas looked at me and burst out laughing. Said, nigga, that nigga almost cried, man. That nigga was about to cry just now. Nigga, we just fucking with you, nigga. Nigga, here, man. That's for you. And gave me the keys to my truck. And I'm like, for real, y'all, like, don't play with me. Yo, fuck y'all, man. Fuck you and fuck you. You know? Gave me the keys to my car, and then they also gave me the money to get my apartment and shit. Like, I love these dudes. Yeah. And I worked with Khan for 5 years after that. Been all over the world with him. I'm on 5 or 6 passports with double pages.
Damn.
I don't know where I haven't been. But again, it's the kid looking out the project window. You know what I mean? I'm the fly on the wall. I'm in the right place at the right time, and I take that and I keep myself surrounded by people who will influence me to keep pushing forward. Right. I don't like to be around people who don't want to do anything, who don't want to grind, people who always complain about their surroundings and shit. Your surroundings is what you make it. If you want to be around drug dealers and motherfuckers with no money, that's what you're going to become.
Aside of your respect for just grinding, what else do you think you took away from all these experiences overall?
Love of life.
Nice.
Love of life. We only got one chance at this shit.
Yeah.
I mean, you don't get a second chance. The people who do, they cherish the fuck out of that second chance. Because there's people who've been shot. You supposed to be dead. Yeah. And they took that second chance and they ran with it. There's nothing in my blood that doesn't want to keep moving forward. I cherish life. People look at me now like, you know, I'm 45. So people like, nah, you ain't no motherfucking 45. How you do that? You know why? I find a way to smile. I find a way to, when I'm down, when I'm depressed, because everybody gets it. It happens to everybody. Right. You know, you get down on yourself. Something ain't going right. Bills ain't paid. You know, you worrying about your kids. But you got to find some type of reason to smile that day. And that's what I do.
Right. Now, one of the last things I want to know, I tell everybody when they ask me who's my favorite MC, I tell them.
What you gonna do, top 5, or you gonna do just your favorite MC period?
Well, I'm gonna tell you, before we could do top 5.
I knew you was gonna do this shit too.
Before we do top 5 though, my favorite MC is Big L. Did you ever meet Big L?
I never got the chance to meet Big L before he got murdered. I was close to meeting him at one point because, like I said, I used to go up to the Bronx and I used to go up to Harlem all the time by myself when different events was happening. And, you know, I was supposed to not meet him, sort of say, but I knew where he was supposed to be, and there was supposed to be some shit going on that day. And I just never transpired. You know, me not having no money to get on the train and shit, and I didn't want to hop and get a fucking ticket.
Yeah.
So it never happened. And then when I got with Jay and them, we was just never around at that time. Like, I wasn't around when L was cracking.
Yeah.
But I can honestly say that if that wouldn't have happened, Big L would have been one of the biggest motherfuckers out here. You know who reminds me of Big L in so many ways? Fabulous.
That's big.
That's a good comparison. But this is what I want, because I remember we talked about this at the party. What was your relationship, especially early reasonable, before pre-reasonable? You told me you had a relationship with Stretch Armstrong.
Well, Stretch Armstrong was that motherfucker. Stretch Armstrong still that motherfucker to this day to me. He's one of the best in the business.
Yeah.
Stretch and Bobbito had a kind of a pirate radio show. It was for school, but it was one of the dopest stations out. Fuck a Hot 97, BLS, or whatever the fuck it was. They had one of the dopest hip hop stations out in New York. Like, everybody who's anybody went to Stretch and Bobbito early. Stretch was like, it was no Stretch and Bobbito without the other.
Now, this is what I want to know. How did they get branded as, like, pretty much the gatekeepers to who is next up?
Because they kept it 100.
So, like
you couldn't go up to a radio station right now. Like, right now, you got a whack rapper that comes up to a radio station. Yeah. And a radio jock or whoever would be on his balls.
Gas him up.
Yeah, gas him up and make him feel like he was a shit. Yeah. You're not getting that from Stretch and Bobbito. So and honestly speaking, you couldn't be corny to come up there. Yeah. You're not getting it. You're not getting that invite. You had to be dope.
So would you say that they built that? That was the way that they built it from the beginning before they had anybody come up there? Was it, nigga, we're not letting nobody whack come up here?
Yes, I feel like that because I don't feel like they ever had any whack rappers come up there at all.
I never seen.
I know when Wu-Tang went up there, they went up there. It was like really like 36 chambers. Like it was 100 motherfucking niggas.
I heard like Method got into it with like the chick at the front desk.
Yeah. So now because like how the fuck are we letting all these people in here? Like nigga, we here, Shaolin. This is all us.
So if it was like an underground station like that, they weren't getting paid then, were they?
No.
So there it is. That's why they was able to keep it so fucking real, because they doing it for the love.
This is what people don't understand to this day, is that hip hop is a culture. It's been built into a multi-million-dollar business. But you gotta understand the culture. You have to understand where the fuck this came from. Yeah. This came from not having shit. This came from fucking being hungry. Yeah. You know, hip hop was built because, like, if you go back to rock and roll was built because of jazz. You know, people didn't have shit, blues. So you taking the bad and you turning it into something good. So when people when white people didn't understand black people lyrics and shit, and why they curse and they talk about drugs and guns and different things, you know, even to this day, y'all don't understand how we live. Yeah. This is an environment we live in, so this is what I rap about.
That's what we talking about.
Now, when the motherfuckers start getting money, you see how when Big was rapping about robbing chicks on the train and shit like that. And then when he started getting money, he started rapping about the money in the cars and and different things. So you rap about your environment. Your environment will tell you everything about it. That's your story. But understand the culture.
While you brought it back to Big, were you in Brooklyn when the year he got killed? Were you still in Brooklyn?
Yeah, I was living at my mom's.
So you were out there. Were you out there for the service and
I didn't go to the service. It was just too many people. I didn't want to be a part of it, and I was more hurt for Jay.
Yeah.
I can honestly say I was more hurt for Jay. Jay don't know that to this day. I was personally destroyed and hurt because I knew what kind of person Big was, and I knew that everybody that was around him, all his camp, like Big made sure they ate. Like it wasn't no I'm gonna eat and I'm gonna be the man and y'all just gonna be my underlings. Yeah. It wasn't that. If I'm eating, we all eating, and Big was really about that. And he put everybody on. And so when he got killed, I was actually asleep. I used to sleep with this radio in my room. I had a small ass room in the projects, and I had this stereo in the room, and I used to always keep it on. It never went off. So I was in bed, and then Angie Martinez came on the radio, and she was talking about Big was murdered, and then, I'm asleep. So it's one of those dream, surreal things, like it's not really happening. But the more they talk about it, I'm starting to wake up, and I got to go to the office. So I'm like, damn, nah, this thing just happened. So I got dressed real quick and shot to the office and shit, and it was real. And Damon came in the office and shit, and he was like, don't nobody call Jay, leave him alone, just let him do him. I didn't see Jay that whole fucking day. But just don't bug him. And when he does come in the office, just let him be. You know what I mean? Because he was devastated. You know what I mean? That's my man. They killed my man. Like, that's hard. Because Jay and Big used to go back and forth. Like, if Jay had a dope rhyme and he recorded it, he would send it to Big, like, yo, listen to this. And Big would do the same thing. So they really cared about each other, and they was really like just two Brooklyn cats. Yeah. Marcy's not far from Fort Greene, and where Big lived at is right there. Like, we could all meet up. It wasn't hard.
Man.
Like, Brooklyn was just, man. It was just. It's hard to say, man, because Brooklyn was just Brooklyn. You know what I mean? I rep Brooklyn till I die. Yeah. I love Brooklyn. I love everything about it. The food, the people, the smell. When I go home, it smells different. Not like it's this shit stinks. It's just a different smell. It takes me back. Every time I step foot in Brooklyn, it takes me back to back in the day. Yeah. And to be around all of these people that became huge, that became something out of what people think you can't get out of, was big. So for me, I don't have a basketball talent. I'm not a rapper. I'm not this, I'm not that. For me to come out of it was big for me. I didn't want to stop because I'm watching these guys become huge. Yeah. I remember one time Damon, we was in the car with Jay. We was in the Lexus actually. And Damon was like, man, I'm going to make you so motherfucking big that you won't be able to walk the streets. And at this time, we could still walk the streets. We didn't give a fuck where the fuck we went. Some people knew him, some people didn't. That nigga can't walk the streets right now. He got Secret Service with him. That nigga's like the fucking president. I remember Damon said that shit that day. And it was like, this shit really transpired. It happened.
And a lot of people credit him a lot of people get, even though they had the fallout, but a lot of people say you can never take what Dame did away from that situation because he was the driving force.
You cannot.
All right, I'll put it like this. Damon, Jay, and Biggs was the driving force. Those three were the push. And they knew what they had to do. Biggs, silent partner, but was super smart. He knew, like, Biggs was intricate in Kanye's career. You know what I mean? Biggs knew shit. He was smart as fuck, still to this day. Yeah. Damon, he's gonna run the day-to-day operations of what's going on in his joint, and he didn't take no shorts. Now, what I learned from Damon and pretty much from all of them is how not to take no for an answer. Now, when I'm on a phone and I'm calling up the stations and shit, trying to get Jay's record played, I'm not taking no for an answer.
So how would those conversations go?
Well, once I became radio promotions, because I was just doing cold calls at first, and then I became radio promotions, and which I didn't want to do. I wanted to be A&R. My whole life was about being an A&R, but I took whatever they gave me. Yeah. And those phone calls was, I'm not playing that shit, or who the fuck is Jay, You know, like you got a lot of those. You know, and when I'm calling college radio stations all across the country. And, you know, I would ship out like 2, maybe 4 records at a time, make sure they got the records and shit. And this is before I started doing national mix show radio. So I didn't know nothing about BDS and all that shit. So my phone calls would be very intricate, like direct. Like, yo, I'm sending you, this is F Sharp, yo, I'm sending you this J record, man, I need you to play this for me. College radio really didn't have a problem playing it. Because college radio, again, you're not getting paid, you at the station, you at school, you want the newest records, you know, so they didn't really have a problem with playing it. Mix show radio, that's the major stations. They really wasn't on it. You know, they really, a lot of stations wasn't on it, and it wasn't, you know, you probably got 4 DJs at one station, you might have 6 DJs at another station. You know, depending on the station. You might have 10 DJs at a station. You don't know. Yeah. I'm trying to get this record to every fucking body. Now, BDS comes in every fucking Wednesday. It tells you how many times this record was spinned at that station. So if I got a DJ slot at 6 o'clock and he spins my record, that gets detected to BDS. Right. So I got a BDS report every Wednesday, and I would have to go report back to Jay and them how many spins we getting. And they would tell me how many spins they're looking for. Like, nah, we need to get these spins up, because the more spins that this record is getting, that means the more play it's getting.
So how did you get to the point where those spins started increasing? What did you change about the way you were relaying the messages to?
Nothing.
Nothing, just kept
hitting it.
Kept hitting it.
Just kept hitting it. I started staying in the office later because I didn't realize that the LA calls that I was making was at the wrong times.
Yeah, that 3 hour.
Yeah, I didn't realize that. So when I realized that, you know, what the fuck I'm going home for? Like, what am I really going home for? Ain't nothing home. Yeah. So I might as well stay here and bang out this phone.
Talk about balancing personal life.
I didn't have a personal
life.
While
you had all this, nothing.
Nah, not really. You know,
shit.
I dealt with my girl, you know, but she knew what it was. Like, when I stopped seeing Donisha, I started seeing my son moms, and she knew what it was. She knew what I was into. You know, I wasn't out there selling drugs and shit. You know, I did sell weed at one point, you know, but that was way before that. But everything was about my music. It wasn't about nothing else. My life didn't revolve around shit, but this music. She can tell you right now she called me just now when I fucking cut my phone off. But if I put her on right now, she'll tell you that she was important, but she wasn't as important as the music. Because if I had to get up and leave, I was out. If Jay called me at 2 in the motherfucking morning, I'm out. It didn't matter what I was doing. You know what I mean? That's why I tell people now who become assistants and shit, like, I could teach anybody to become an assistant, because you have to be about what you're doing. There is no personal life when you're an assistant for somebody like Jay-Z or Puffy or anyone in that era. Yeah. Your life is their life, and you have to balance that around what you're doing. You know what I mean? I had my son, when he was born, she was still taking care of him and shit. You know, we went through it all, but it was still about the music. If somebody needed me, I'm there, because I wanted to be reliable. If a motherfucker knew I was reliable, they gonna call me. Yeah. I'm always gonna get money. I'm always gonna be somewhere around. That's how Khan knew I was reliable. You know what I mean? I no matter what they did, I need you to do another day. Like, nigga, I gotta go to work. Oh, come on, man, I need you to do one more day, because he's still gonna be here. He just took another. All right, fuck it. Let me figure out what I'm gonna call the office and tell the office I can't come in for the day.
And you know what's
I lost my foot.
When we had Rel up here the other day, we talked about
Rel.
This is the MC I was telling you that came.
Oh, I thought he was like Rel from Roc-a-fella.
No. I was like, whoa. Not that they're real. But when Rel was up here, and he was this is an artist from Milwaukee I was telling you about. He talked about he came close to, he was trying to balance hooping and rhyming, and got to the point where he was about to go overseas, but fell out of love with just basketball in general. But I
can see that. He
was just like, I just stopped loving the game. I got offers, I got offer sheets, and agents set me up with shit, but he's like, I just didn't love it no more. And listening to you talk about how you would, even in pre-rock, when you were working with Taj, you took days off to do that, and you were working at your job, you took days off to
everything's about a sacrifice.
Would you feel, I mean, I know what my opinion is, but would you 100% feel like sometimes in life that it's worth maybe taking that small step back financially from
Yes.
some shit that you feel you
Yes.
have to do
Yes.
to do some shit that you know is in your
Yes.
heart to do.
Yes.
100%.
That's what sacrifice is.
Yeah.
Sometimes you got to take a step back and get no money
Yeah.
to see the bigger picture.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, I didn't get into the music game for the money. Again, the culture brought me into it.
Yeah.
The love of lyrics, the love of beats and tracks, and the love of watching these guys do what they did, you know, breakdancing and shit, tagging on the walls. That's the culture. So it was never about money. The money was the companies. They knew what they had. So that's why a lot of cats back in the day used to get robbed. Because these people who knew the business, they knew about your publishing, they knew about points, they knew about everything.
Yeah.
And when you don't know that, they gonna give you some money. You ain't never seen this money
Never
before.
seen that shit.
So you like, yeah, we good, baby. Meanwhile, you making them rich. My thing was when I came in, I was never about the money. I wanted plaques. I wanted people to tell me I did good. I wanted to hear Jay say, "Yo, good job." I wanted that pat on the back. That was my reward. I wasn't, "Yo, Jay, I need some Timbs, or can I get some money for this?" I never asked them niggas for a dime. Never. When they started paying me, they just started paying me. You know what I mean? And it still wasn't about the money.
Yeah.
You know, at one point, I knew I was worth more, and I went out there and you know, companies was looking at me and they wanted me to come work for them. You know, so I would go out and see what kind of money you talking about. I didn't know niggas was making fucking $50,000, $60,000 a year. Like, what the fuck? That nigga's in the same position I am.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? But, you know, that was my naive side because I didn't realize that was happening. And I didn't, you know, at that point, money started coming in. So when you start to get some money, you could buy some new clothes. You could buy some new Timbs. You know, so you start seeing a change.
Yeah.
You walk different. You got a haircut every fucking week. You look different. You smell different. You start smelling yourself. You know, the thing is, you got to stop smelling yourself.
Yeah.
And you got to stay focused.
Yeah.
You know, I fell off because I was smelling myself and just kind of feeling some kind of way.
Word.
But it's really about, if you're going to get into it, don't look for the money because you're not going to get paid.
Right.
Now, if you go back there and you step back and you just do the work, the money will
The
come.
money will come.
Like, same thing I told with my son. I was like, yo, leave them bitches alone. Bitches going to come.
Yeah.
But they're not going to come when you ain't got no bread in your pocket.
That's real shit.
So you go out there and you put the game down and you get this money and get right. Don't get this little bullshit money where you get sneakers and gear. Get this re-up money, like this real money. Now you can move around for real.
Yeah.
They gonna come.
They gonna come.
So does your son know about your history in this music shit?
He knows about most of it. He doesn't, like, we never really sat down and, like, he's never really asked me a bunch of questions, but he's met Big Daddy Kane. Like, Big Daddy Kane came out here one time to do a show, and I went out to go check him out. So we in the trailer and shit, and my son, I know my son at the time was just like, you know, who is this motherfucker? So Kane was like, yo, me and your dad go back like old Cadillac seats. Like, we go back, you know. And then when he came on, when Kane jumped on stage, my son's looking at me recite all the lyrics, and he's like, oh shit, like I never seen my dad really do this. Except when we in the car listening to Wu-Tang, my son listening to Wu-Tang crazy. You know, other than that, he don't see me do that. So then we was in the joint and he was talking about all back in the day shit, and my son was just like intrigued by it.
Yeah.
But I tell him a lot about my life and how I came up, and you know, I try to keep it 100 with my son on every level. You know, and my son likes music. He really likes music. He's not like where I was, but he likes music.
Now I see that he's into sports.
Yeah.
But is he kind of in that? Because I know I was in that. I was into sports around that age too, but I was also really falling in love with music, and I had to like.
Well, my son's been in love with football. Well, he was playing baseball when he was super young. Then he started playing football, and when he came out here to live with me, everything was about football. Right. And he broke his arm, you know, so shit didn't, you know, it didn't pan out the way we wanted it to, because he broke his arm, 2 bones in his arm. Okay. So he got like 2 plates and like 11 screws in his arm for good.
Well, he was he a receiver?
No, he was actually on defense.
Oh, he was a defense.
Yeah.
Okay.
But that just happened. I was on my way to the game, and this is at kickoff.
Shit.
And somebody stepped on his arm when he fell. So it snapped and looked like a letter S.
Damn.
So right now he's back in Atlanta with his moms. You know, he's just trying to plan his life out right now. He's 18. Okay. He'll be 19 in September. Mm-hmm. He's just trying to plan his life out right now, see where his passion really lies right now.
So he's taking a break from football a little bit?
Yeah.
Okay.
But I told him he can get back into it, or he can, you know, you can be a commentator because he knows everything about football. Yeah. Mm-hmm. You know, you can be anything behind the scenes. Right. And then with my connections, you know, we'll try and make it work. You know, but as I try and school him about my life a lot, and I tell him about the sacrifices that you got to take. You know, you got to take that step back. You can't look for the paper, especially if you find it that you love this. Yeah. Then that means you love it. It don't matter what it's going to do. If you poor and you still love this shit, then it's good. Yeah. Mm-hmm. You know, just because you're not getting paid off of it don't mean shit. Yeah. You know, you got people that do all kind of different shit that they fucking love and don't get no money.
Yeah, it's real.
Is that gonna stop them from doing that?
Hell no.
So I'm gonna keep moving forward. Like my shit don't stop. I'm 45, and I don't want to retire. Yeah. I don't want to retire. I want to. Shit. If I could get back with J and I will.
So what would you say is next up for you? What you want to get into? What you want to do next?
You know, it's funny that you asked that because I get bored quick. You know, so I got a 5-year span on everything. I got 5 years with Jay-Z, 5 years with Akon, and it wasn't like I planned it that way. It just kind of started happening. So I put everything on 5 years. I've been in Chicago for 8, so I'm way past my fucking limit.
Yeah. You almost doubled over.
Yeah, exactly.
True story.
Exactly. Yeah. So I'm at a point right now where I need to hold on to something. I need to grab something that I can put my all into.
You know, I'm surprised that you, I mean, correct me if I'm wrong, because I don't think you've done this, but I'm surprised that you never jumped into, like, sports agent.
Well,
like
the thing is, with the agency, you know, I was kind of talked out of it, and my brother still kind of talks me into it. But when I got out here, that's when I started learning about the sports agency side of it, because I don't know nothing about sports agency. I know about sports, and I know about people. Mm-hmm. And his agent, Mark Bartelstein, one of the top agents in the business at Priority Sports, he kept watching me, you know, when I came out here, and he was watching how I make sure Taj get to his interviews and his appearances, and Taj always, you know, he always asks me for different advice on different things, you know, whether signing a contract or doing this or doing that, you know, or chick or whatever it may be. And he was watching me, and that's why I tell people, you never know who's the fuck watching you. Yeah. And me and him actually got a nice thing going right now. And he was like, the fact that he likes the fact that I can go places an agent can't. Mm-hmm. I can do things an agent can't. Yeah. You know, and people that are outside, they don't know agents. It's hard to trust them. Mm-hmm. You know, because you're looking at an agent like a shark.
Yeah. You know, he's trying to get a check.
I'm just a fucking commodity for him to get some money. Mm-hmm. You know, he can put me on the shelf. There's a lot of cats right now that's put up on shelves. You know, that are with different agencies, but they don't get that bond, that family bond with them. They don't, you know, they get a call every now and then, you know, or when their deal is up, you know, but he saw something different in me, and I started learning about the business, and I asked questions to a lot of the veteran basketball players, and, you know, I asked questions to everybody in the office, you know, just to see what's going on and how to make my moves, you know. So like right now, I'm making good money. I ain't got to be in that office. I ain't got to punch a clock. Mm-hmm. If I don't feel like getting up, I won't.
That's how we want to live.
You know?
That's how we want to live.
You do. Yeah. But the thing is, you know, you can get fucking lazy.
Yeah,
quickly.
Doing that, yeah.
You know, because you like, I don't got to get up.
True. And just there.
I'm up at 2 o'clock in the motherfucking afternoon.
Now tell me before we wrap it up, man.
Yeah, because it's heavy.
It's heavy, but it's worth it.
I can't wait till y'all see how long this went. I know y'all niggas is like, how long?
Hey, but it
Pause.
be like that.
I wasn't gonna say nothing. No, we didn't even get into that shit.
Yeah,
either.
we didn't even get into that.
Yeah.
But go ahead. What you was gonna say?
Before we get up out of here, I want to know, how did Taj take having to lead the Bulls?
It hurt.
Yeah.
It hurt. You've been here. This is a job. Mm-hmm. You've been at a job for over 8 years, and they tell you gotta go.
Yeah.
You kind of like, why?
I gotta take, because when I saw that shit, I saw the rumor, and I was like,
Well, he's always in rumors. Every year he's in rumors.
So and that's why I was like, that's not happening. That deal's not.
I saw the rumor early that morning, early as fuck, and early afternoon, it was just out official. How crazy is that though? But to get back to your answer, I'm sorry.
He was hurt, but he's also a grown man.
True.
So
and he understood the business.
He understood the business. So you got to pack up. You got to go.
How's he like OKC?
Right now he's cool, but it's nothing to do out there but basketball. So our conversations right now was like, yo, bro, ain't nothing out here but basketball. So I tell him, like, listen, you got 2 months right now. Just back down.
Oh, because he's coming up on his contract.
Exactly. Okay, unrestricted free agency.
Oh, so you gonna lay low here until you figure out what's
I'm
going
good.
on. Okay. I thought you was about to get up out here next
I ain't
week.
going away right now. Because the season's gonna be over.
Yeah.
Like why make a move out there when I don't need to?
Yeah.
I might have to move again.
Now, what do you think though? Do you think that let's put it in this
Well,
context?
if he finishes strong,
If the Thunder finish strong, you think he might find a home with OKC?
yes.
I think so.
Griff is he's an assistant coach over there. He was assistant coach over here when Taj was here, and he was here throughout most of Taj's
I
career.
didn't know Griff went over there.
Yeah.
Okay.
So he was here most of Taj's career here. So being the fact that he's over there just helps. And then being the fact that Doug went with him, helps too.
Absolutely.
So you ain't just tricking over somewhere by yourself and got to get a whole new everything. They automatically schooling him as soon as he walked off the plane.
Okay.
But he likes it. He's cool. He loves the love that the people are giving him right now.
They fans are.
It's big. So I'm hoping that they go far in the playoffs, and we'll see what happens at the end. If they want to sign him a contract, they know what they need to do.
How would you feel if he ended up like going back to New York and playing for the Knicks?
It would be dope because there's nobody on this planet who don't want to play in the Garden. You know what I mean? The hardest part is that you're home. So you got to deal with family and friends and cousins that come under the bricks, and you got to deal with that shit. But other than that, it would be dope to see him in the New York Knicks uniform because everybody wants to play in the Garden.
Full circle.
Not just play in the Garden because you're playing against the Knicks, but to actually have a New York Knicks jersey on and really be a part of that is special.
Then they had a whole crew back over
And
there.
I was just gonna say, and if Derek does stay this season, there you go.
I don't know what's gonna happen with Derek. They might waive him.
They
Who knows?
might.
I've been hearing that.
Yeah, they
It's
might.
It's crazy, man.
But he'll wind up somewhere good. He's coming up on his next contract too.
And if he doesn't stay in New York, I'm predicting West Coast. I am.
Well, Magic's over at
Clippers.
with the Lakers right now,
Yeah.
so
Could happen.
They said
Magic's
LA.
about to do some things.
Yeah, he's going. They said Clippers or the Lakers.
There's a summer. We have a summer coming in right now where everybody's gonna be in LA and Vegas and living their lives right now, and these organizations gonna be making moves.
And that's when the deals are made in the off season.
Yeah. So it should be interesting to see a lot of people getting moved around this summer, But we'll see what happens.
Well, look, man, we appreciate you coming through, man. This was real.
I
I think
appreciate
the
this.
people are going to actually really fuck with this.
Yeah, this part two. This is part one and part two.
Yeah, it's all.
Because we missed out on some things.
We missed out on some things, but we might come back and revisit it. We got.
Hey,
we just
I'll
started.
come back up anytime y'all want me to come back up.
Listen,
I appreciate this.
Floyd, let me tell you how the sound booth works, though. I hope you know, man. Our guests come up here, they talk, we talk, I talk. And then after that, man, they kick a fucking freestyle. That's how this goes.
Yeah, you done fucked up there.
Floyd said he ain't going back to that,
You
man.
done fucked up there. I ain't kick a freestyle since it was free.
I thought I was gonna be able to get out of 16, but give me a 4. Give me a 4. You know what I'm saying?
I couldn't even give you a 4.
Oh man.
That'd be some dope shit if you was able to give me a track and I was actually able to give you a 4. I can't even give you a 4. I don't remember last time I gave a 4 or 5.
man,
I didn't
Six.
put so many fucking tracks on this grid over here. I was like, yo.
He about to give me something.
Hey man, but look, it's all good. So check it out, man. DJ Mike Caliber, A-List, Floyd,
Yeah.
AKA F Sharp.
F Sharp, Brooklyn's finest. You know the drill.
Shot City a Shot City New York episode.
Yeah,
thing,
because
man.
All day
I'm kind of
long.
Shot City anyway.
Yeah, he definitely blessed in. 8 years you in. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah,
you
yo.
in.
Blessed in.
Blessed in
Blessed in.
like he got jumped into a
Lessons
gang.
and demonstrations.
Hey, I
into
could
the
drive
game.
around. I could drive around Chicago without my GPS, so I'm pretty cool right now.
All day. Yeah, man.
crazy.
So we hope you enjoyed all of these stories that you heard, man. And hey, just like that, out of respect for the culture, nothing whack will ever come out of the sound booth.
You did.
Appreciate y'all.